With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fatheadz TV. We are here at the Richmond Raceway tonight for the Fatheadz Eyewear 125 for the SHOWTIME Cup Series. This is race number 9 of their current season, and it is back-to-back short track races. We were at Martinsville last weekend, headed, where's Richmond compared to Martinsville? North? East, somewhere in the state of Virginia, and now we are here at the 3/4 mile short track known as Richmond Raceway. Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle Young, here to bring you live flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's event. As always, joining me next door in the replay booth is Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. He does all of the wonderful things to present you with a beautiful picture on tonight's stream. And he debuted on Fatheadz TV last night with the RBR Maritime iRacing League. We get to work together for the first time tonight, and it's his home track, Butterbean Brendan Queen. How we doing tonight, Brendan?
Hey, we're doing good, man. Didn't have to drive as far tonight to be here at the fabulous Richmond Raceway, but I'm looking forward to seeing some good cup racing tonight.
As are we all. 125 laps will be the distance tonight. Qualifying just wrapping up, and the pace car on the front stretch getting ready to grid this field of, let's see, we have 30 cars ready to take the green flag here tonight. We'll get through some of the starting lineup here as the field starts to grid. Your pole sitter on tonight's event, driving the number 3 machine. He is second place in points. He's got 3 wins on the year thus far. That is Tommy Kelly. Outside pole sitter in car number 12, that is Caleb Levener. Starting on the inside of row at number 2. In position number 3 is the 19 of Trevor Absher, and Michael Buckley in car number 38 will start in position number 4. Completing your top 5 starters in the 00, he is your current points leader by just 15 points over pole sitter Tommy Kelly. That is the 00 machine of Tim Wortman Jr. And Kenny Capola in car number 66 will start in position number 6. Wayne Bowen in car number 11 will line up in position number 7, and on the outside of him in position number 8 is the 13 machine of Preston Poirier. Completing your top 10 starters in car number 88, 1 win on the season for him, that is Ed Boyles Jr. And rounding out the top 10 in that top 10 spot in car number 5 is Wade Palmer IV. So should be getting this field rolling here in just a handful of seconds. The 2-minute grid time just about expired. They'll go around this racetrack 2 times under pacing, and then we will go green flag here once again for 125 laps of action. Brendan, with this being your hometown track, I'm sure you are very knowledgeable when it comes to this short track. What kind of things can we expect out of this track tonight for this 125 lap event?
You know, it's going to be all about, being able to roll the center late. You know, here you'd like to charge the corner, but you also got to be conservative and find that right spot to back the corner up enough, not to overheat the right front. If you can keep that turn in it, that's going to help your exit, which is probably the most important part of this place. When you transition from that banking to a straightaway, you're still kind of turning all the way down the front stretch in the dog legs. So drive off is very important here late in a run.
Couple housekeeping things to let you in on before we go green flag here tonight. 4 tires set the limit for these drivers, so the ones on the car at the moment and 3 in the pits. We're looking at a 60% fuel load, so these cars do not have a full tank of fuel in them, and the laps that we're looking at with that 60% fuel load looks to be about 80 to 82 laps. So one pit stop will be required at some point here in this event. They will not be able to go green flag, or will not be able to go the entire race without having to make a pit stop. Caution flag and green flag laps will have a major impact on that strategy, so it should be an entertaining race to watch. Pace car getting set to dunk down onto pit road and leave the field in the hands of the number 3 machine of Tommy Kelly. No surprise to success here in this Showtime Cup Series. He will lead the field to green. Caleb Levener in car number 12 on his outside. The field bunches up, gets ready to smash the gas. Green flag hits the air, and we are underway here at the Richmond Raceway for the Fatheadz Eyewear 125, and we immediately have trouble. We got a car into the outside wall. That is the 38 machine of Michael Buckley. He collects the 2 machine, I believe that is, of Patrick McLendon. No caution at the moment. Looks like those 2 cars have gotten going. It is indeed the 2 machine of McLendon. He will get the car spun back around, but early trouble already, and the caution flag stays in its holster. We are still green.
It'd be interesting to see if someone missed a shift or just spun the tires there. I'm not sure.
Not at all how the 38 machine of Michael Buckley wanted to get his race started, and without the caution flag, not really having an opportunity to recover from that just yet. Also see, I believe the 6 machine of Colin Zeimer started from pit road. I saw him pull out, and you can see him right there out in front of your race leader, Tommy Kelly, at the moment. He was scheduled to start in position number 20. Looks like he did start on pit road for this event, so he's going to let the leaders go by on the inside here very quickly. Once his internet issues resolve themselves, Tommy Kelly will look to the inside, but Zeimer is saved because the caution flag has flown. Did not get one for the lap 1 incident, but we've got some cars in trouble over in turn number 4. Looks like the 20 machine of Charles Stevens has some damage to the front end of that machine. He was spun around down at the inside of the racetrack. Taking a look at it here myself, yep, it had some help there from the 24 machine, and this gives us an opportunity to check out our very first Fatheadz Eyewear instant replay of the evening.
Absolutely. Getting it pulled up right now, rewinding the here Fatheadz Eyewear instant replay. Kind of rolls off the tip of your tongue here. We're going to take a look at the number 20 car here of Charles Stevens, and you can see the Exalted 24, the Jeff Gordon paint scheme right behind him. Gets in there just a little bit too hot, and you can see tries to correct it a bit, and you can see the 9-car Chase Elliott getting into the back, so not a good lap there for Hendrick Motorsports. The 9 and the 24 catching a little bit of damage. The front end of that 20 car, all sorts of tore up on the Charles Stevens machine, so that's going to be a tough break. I don't believe they've got any quick repairs in this league, so going to have to come down pit road and get the virtual hammers out, start banging on that bad boy, and maybe get some of the dings and dents worked on it, and see if he can kind of work his way back up from the back here. It doesn't look like there was too much internal damage or anything like that, so that's definitely good news, as we've seen that happen many times here on Verdane TV, where a driver just gets sideways like that and may or may not get T-boned, but these guys did a fantastic job. It was a really good shot there of everybody going up high, avoiding the wreck, and he just does a really good job of just trying to keep it as clean as he possibly can, and you can see just really up on the wheel, and there's another really good slow-mo shot, just loses the back end, and you can see the wheels in through that windshield, and just trying to hold on to the car, make sure he doesn't hit anything, and does a great job getting that thing wound up, just taps the back on the pit wall there, so not too bad. Gonna have to work on it a little bit, gonna have to come up from the back. 26th place of the 29 starters here so far, Kyle.
Yeah, it was a rough week last week for Charles Stevens at the Martinsville Speedway. Was collected in a handful of incidents throughout that event. Suffered a 13th place finish when it was all said and done, and now he is starting off his night here at the Richmond Raceway with some adversity as well. It appears that the first lap incident for the 2 machine of Patrick McLendon and the 38 of Michael Buckley has knocked out Patrick McLendon from this event. He has already climbed out of that number 2 discount tire Ford Mustang, so he will be credited with a 30th place finish here tonight. Not at all how he wanted to spend his evening, getting taken out on the first lap and retiring as the first driver. He entered this race 7th place in the point standings, moved up 2 spots in points after last week's race at the Martinsville Speedway, so a 30th place finish here tonight going to set him back quite a bit going into next week, and kill the momentum that he's got going in that race car. So checking things out on the racetrack. Still appears that we are pacing under caution here. Tommy Kelly still out in front, your race leader. Caleb Levener hanging on to second. Trevor Absher is your third place driver. Tim Wortman Jr. in position number 4. And Wayne Bowen up a couple positions to complete the top 5.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see here if the 3 of Kelly can extend his lead again, or if someone like the 12 of Levener there is going to be more prepared on this restart, because the 3 was on a Sunday cruise there to start the race, but now they're going to get a heat cycle of these tires, so it's going to be something to watch here.
And I think these restarts are also going to be something to really focus on. We saw in last week's race at Martinsville how dominant and how important it was to be the control car on the restart. So this will be the first opportunity that we get to see Tommy Kelly in that position for our first restart of the evening. See what he can do here to try to keep Levener, Absher, and Wortman Jr. at bay. So the pace car will duck down on the pit road. We'll give it another go here at the completion of lap number 9. Kelly and Levener, your front row. And there it is. Kelly with a great restart leaves Levener in his wake, and we'll be able to clear up to the outside safer barrier going down into turn number 1. No pressure at all. Field works their way through. First few cars are single file. Our first side-by-side battle, well, it looks like they're trying to battle for position number 4 through some connection flashes there, but they've single filed it out fairly quickly, logging laps around the bottom here at Richmond Raceway.
You hit the nail on the head on that restart there. The 3 just took off and left Levener in the dust. So that 3 of Kelly definitely likes that clean air. So that's going to be something to watch later on if he gets stuck in traffic off of a bad pit stop or something. But right now, that clean air is definitely working on the 3 Chevrolet.
Fairly calm throughout the first portion of the field. You're watching Ed Boyles Jr. here in position number 6, trying to put some pressure on points leader Tim Wortman Jr. for a top 5 position. We're single file really for as far as I can see throughout this field. And as soon as I mention that, the caution flag comes back out for the second time. So not single file throughout the entire field if we've got some trouble. And it looks like it is over in turn number 1 with the 21 machine of Sean Stamper and the 14 ride of Derek Cook. So trouble for those 2 drivers up at the top of turn number 1. Brings out the caution flag for the second time. And caution flag number 2 means Fatheadz Eyewear instant replay number 2. What do you got for us, Paul?
Backing up the tapes right now into the Fatheadz Eyewear instant replay. You got to check out their website, fatheadz.com. That's Fatheadz with a Z. They got some really snazzy looking eyewear. They've got the prescription frames that they've actually got Tony Stewart's Smoke brand, and they've got some really high-end sunglasses over there as well. I was actually taking a peek at them myself because it's getting ready to be race season, and you got to be looking sharp when you get out there to the racetrack. But going to focus in here on the number 14, Derek Cook, the number 21 of Sean Stamper, running side by side, heading on down into turn number 1, and it looks like something broke on the green and black machine there. We'll back it up one more time here. That's going to be the 21 machine of Sean Stamper. You can see he gets in there. The 14 was kind of following him through, and it just seems like it almost didn't turn. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what went down with that. See if we can take another quick replay of it here and just focus right in on the 21. You can see he's coming in, and he's kind of working that middle line as he crosses the stripe, turns in, kind of working the middle a little bit. And we'll actually see if we can ride on board. And you can see just turning that wheel to the left, and just did not want to turn. So may very well have had a right front tire go down. And there you can see it gets spun around and gets a little bit of a kiss from the nose of the 14 car. Not a huge hit, but definitely a little bit of damage on both the 14 and the 21. There you can see the hood on the 14 car, all sorts of scuffed up. So tough break for these guys. It's going to be tough to kind of... it's not a huge rebound, but it looks like the 21's already going to go down a lap at this point as he goes down pit road. And man, it's a tough break here at Richmond. We know tires do wear off quickly here. We were talking to some of the drivers before the race, and tires wear off pretty quickly. They've got about 80 or so laps that they can make it on fuel, but 15 laps in, we're already looking at tire issues. That's going to be something to keep an eye on here, Kyle.
Yeah, very strange incident there for the 21 of Sean Stamper. Not something that you typically see, especially this early on in a race. Stamper on pit road at the moment. Lots of damage to that Menards number 21 Ford. The rear end completely missing on that machine. Front end damage as well. So a very tough break for him. He's going to have a huge hole to try to dig out of coming through for the remainder of this race. But we kind of mentioned it a little bit last week too, Brendan. Short track racing, you can afford to see some dings and dents, tear up some sheet metal. This is not an aerodynamic racetrack, but of course, you don't want to hurt the overall performance of the race car, hurt that engine, and lose any horsepower out of your ride tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those things, aero is not a big deal, so you can tap the wall, get a little nose damage, a little rear end damage, but kind of hit that he took into the wall there looks like the type that sometimes will hurt the motor on here. And once you hurt the motor, that's when you start running into issues. But you have to wonder if he had a monitor issue or something in his wheel and pedals go wrong. I mean, his wheel input was working, but I think it was too early to blow a right front. So that's a weird wreck right there. It's almost like a monitor went black or something.
Well, and despite the early trouble, still seeing some support for Sean Stamper here in the Facebook chat. Terry Leanne Yancey still pulling for Sean Stamper, telling him to shake it off, and he's got this. So he's off the lead lap. Still a lot of laps left to go, so we'll focus on that 21 throughout the race and see if he can recover. Back to Green Flag Racing, another strong restart for the 3 machine of Tommy Kelly. He'll clear Levener for the race lead. Levener goes to second. Absher is in position number 3, and then we are side by side for position number 4. Tim Wortman Jr. going to use that inside line to his advantage and steal 4th place away from Wayne Bowen. Bowen takes a peek to the inside going into 3, but he'll back off and stay in line.
Yeah, Bowen is definitely trying to get that position back. He did not want to stay in 5th. You can see the double zero is actually taking a little bit arcer, like a wider entry into 1 to try to diamond it and get that drive off. So Richmond definitely got multiple grooves. It's just how you want to attack it.
And the more laps that we get in on this racetrack, the wider this track is going to be. And look at Wayne Bowen, gets onto the inside, makes the attack, and Wortman Jr. not going to fight him too hard. He backs off, finds a hole just in front of Kenny Capola, so he'll give Bowen his position number 4 back. Wortman goes to position number 5, and Capola just a couple car lengths back there in position number 6. So you now ride on board with the right front fender of that 11 machine as he makes Tommy Kelly trying to continue the dominance that we have seen out of him and this Richard Childress Racing team throughout these first 8 events in this Showtime Cup Series. Kelly with 3 victories on the season, just 15 points out of the championship lead thus far. And this is a long series, 30-race series, still very early to talk about championship points and all of the championship battle that will come, but this format that they're using, it's identical to the format that you see in the real-world NASCAR Cup Series. So being able to stack up some wins and some bonus points are going to be very important for that 3 machine. So he's taking advantage of everything that he can right now. And as you said, Brendan, just continues to open up the lead. He gained another half a second there over the last couple laps. Let's see what it is here as we complete the 1/5 mark. 25 laps are down. Another 2/10 going to Tommy Kelly's favor. So it's now a 1.8 second gap back to Caleb Levener, who doesn't have too much space back to Trevor Absher. And right behind Absher, side by side for 4th, Kenny Capola moved his way inside the top 5. And now he's looking for more underneath the 11 for 4th.
Yeah, Bowen had a huge slip there as he was right behind the 19 of Absher, and that opened the door for the 66 to fill that gap, and now he's taken over that position. So Bowen can show you one costly mistake, start to go backwards here.
Lots of strength being shown early on here out of that 66 machine for Kenny Capola. He is only up a couple positions from his 6th place starting spot, but he's looking racy during this run. getting after these drivers and taking positions over fairly easily. Now that 66 Toyota trying to close in on a podium position, entering a little bit lower than what the 19 machine is into these corners, and it looks like it's working for them. The gap seems to be closing. It was 0.4 of a second the last time by. They come across the line, and it is now cut in half. So Kenny Capalla making ground on Trevor Absher, and it looks like Absher also closing in on Levener for second.
Yeah, Kenny's probably showing the most speed out of everybody besides the race leader as of now. He's been on the move silently and, finds himself with a good chance here to move up not one but two spots. So, this could set him up good going into the pit stop later on, and the track's going to change with the rubber. So here he goes, move him up to third.
Kenny Capalla takes over position from Trevor Absher, so he will now go to position number 3 and has his sights set next on the 12 machine of Caleb Levener for the runner-up position. Absher able to get in line behind the 66 machine, and he will try to hold off his teammate Wayne Bowen in car number 11. Lap number 31 going to go into the books here as they cross the stripe. Caleb Levener gained 1/10 of a second on Tommy Kelly that last lap, but it has extended to a 3-second lead. Great battling going on inside the top 5, but Tommy Kelly wants no part of it, and he has separated himself from the field.
Yeah, Kelly's out there far enough now where I have to think he's probably on conserve mode and just kind of maintaining the gap. And, sometimes when you slow down, you go faster. So I know that's not what the rest of the field wants to hear, but, he's probably really happy with their car right now in the 3 camp. But like I said, Capalla is on the move, and he's looking at second here very soon.
Has not taken him long at all to erase the gap that up to Caleb Levener after making the pass for position number 3. He's looking to the inside through the center of 1 and 2. Not quite enough space. The bottom's going to open up coming off of turn number 2. They're going to go side by side down the back straightaway. Drives it down into turn number 3. Levener giving him plenty of space to work with. Couple side by side battles going on now as Wayne Bowen is underneath of Trevor Absher for position number 4. Absher's going to back off and allow Bowen to take that position. Capalla still trying to work over Levener. Levener will sacrifice position number 2, and Capalla will go to the runner-up spot. So some position swapping. Tim Wortman Jr. starting to close in on Trevor Absher now. Great stuff going on inside the top 5.
Definitely getting a little racy. It's interesting to see the fall off. The 19 looks to be falling off more than the others in the top 5 because, he was all over Levener for second there, and now he finds himself in jeopardy of falling out of the top 5.
Good battle going on here on your screen between Ed Boyles Jr. and Pete Polini for position number 7. Polini coming off of the victory last week at the Martinsville Speedway, a very dominating victory for him. Led the majority of the race. I believe it was 134 laps that he led en route to his first win on the season, just trying to work his way inside of the top 5 at the moment. He started back in position number 23, Brendan, so he is already up 16 positions. Did not have a very good qualifying effort, but he's showing that he still has some speed underneath the hood of that 31 car.
Yeah, the caution's out, but yeah, like you said there, the RCR cars have been pretty fast this season from what I've heard, and I assume he comes out of the same camp as Kelly, and he might be one to watch.
Caution flag flies for the 3rd time tonight. The incident occurring between the number 23 machine of David Doothwaite and the 9 of Matt Mackin. Looks like the 23 of Doothwaite got the worst end of that one, spun around and made some contact with a couple other competitors. Paul, Fatheadz Eyewear instant replay number 3. Take us through it.
Yeah, sorry, Kyle. Looks like your DoorDash is going to be a little bit late here this evening. The DoorDash number 23 getting caught up in a little bit of trouble. You can see running in the middle line, a little bit off the pace, and it looks like there's a car behind him hits the wall. Not sure what the deal was there, but Doesn't even look like there was actually contact there. That might have been one of those netcode deals. Tough break for the 24. Gets a good piece of the back bumper of the 23, but we'll back that up again. Kind of give it to you slow motion. And one of the things with the iRacing, the internet racing deal is you can get real close to somebody. These are drivers that are working on separate internet connections, separate setups, and everything like that. And you may not really be up in somebody. You can see there's almost a foot of distance between those two cars, and still kind of sent them around. So kind of a tough break. We call that netcode in the world of sim racing. But tough break. Again, the 24, the 20, getting a piece of it as well. That was the 17 car that caught the wall a little bit. But looks like pit road is a happening place to be right now. What do you got going on over there, Butterbean?
Yeah, I actually did not see the pit cycle here, but it looks like Kelly comes out as the leader. So not only getting it done on the track, his pit crew with that first pit stall selection gets him out first. It looks like we got one car stayed out, but it's going to be interesting now. You got Tommy Kelly and Kenny Coppola there, all fresh tires, and that lead is gone. The 4-second lead is erased, and he's got company now. So it'll be interesting to see how much he was actually riding versus how hard the 66 was going. Some of these guys might have made an air pressure adjustment or something. So it's going to get very interesting on these fresh tires for the restart.
Especially with these Richard Childress Racing guys. These guys are very, very quick. The 3, the 00, the whole stable really as a whole. They definitely put their practice in. They work together on the setups. And they kind of watch each other's backs, and it definitely shows on the racetrack. Very strong last week at Martinsville. Very strong here at Richmond International Raceway as well. Do want to take just a moment here to thank everybody tuning in here tonight over on the YouTube and the Facebook pages. Appreciate all the likes and the shares and the follows, subscribes, all that good stuff. Really helps us out. But what really helps us out is when you hit that share button. Let your friends know that you're watching some internet racing here on Verdane TV, and it's pretty neat. You should check it out and tell your friends and family to tune in and let us know where you're watching from. We'll try and get you a shout out sometime throughout the broadcast. And we did have the kind of behind the scenes deal on Twitch, but we were pumping out just a little bit too much connection, so we had to shut that down. So we hope that everybody over on Twitch found their way over to the Facebook or the YouTube page. And man, we got some great racing here. Good, clean racing. Couple of cautions so far, Kyle, but nothing too crazy. Just a couple of quick racing deals. We're already looking 50, 50, 125, almost a third of the way, 33.3% of a third way through the race. Steiner math. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah, seeing a lot of great stuff throughout the front half of the field here thus far. Tommy Kelly's been very dominant, but all of the battling behind him has been intriguing to watch, and it should be very fun to see what Kenny Coppola can do here starting in position number 2. He worked his way up to that second spot during that green flag run, and by the time he got there, Tommy Kelly was already out of grasp at that moment. So now he gets to start right next to Tommy Kelly here. We'll see if that 66 Toyota has anything for the number 3 machine tonight. Lap number 43 going to go into the books once the green flag flies. Kelly leaves the field, and we go back to green flag racing. A great restart by the 12 of Caleb Levener. He is going to take over position number 2 once again off the restart. Caught that 66 car sleeping and puts that number 12 Advanced Auto Parts Ford Mustang back in the runner-up position.
Yeah, this will be interesting. This is the close that he's been to the bumper of Kelly. So you got to wonder if the track's changing. And, maybe he's going to adapt quicker than the 3. But it's just hard to bet against that 3 right now. He's been so dominant. But I'm interested to see what his teammate does as he's now up to 7th and on the move.
Pete Pellini doing a great job of working his way through the field early on in this event. You check out that number 31 machine at the moment, as mentioned, in position number 7, trying to close in on the 19 of Trevor Apsher. And right behind Pellini is the 7 machine of Chris Spear. The 88 machine spins off of turn number 2. He's going to collect the 4 of Pete Woodrum, and that will bring out the caution flag. So a mistake there. I believe that was a mistake by the 88 car of Ed Boyles Jr., getting spun around there in turn number 2. And unfortunately for Pete Woodrum, he was the innocent victim, gets collected in, could not avoid that nationwide Camaro, and finds some damage on the front end of his Busch Light number 4 Ford Mustang. So caution flag comes back out. Both drivers leave the scene of the accident, not without some damage though, and we'll check it out here on the Fatheadz Eyewear instant replay.
Yeah, you don't need any glasses to see this. Unfortunately, we saw this happen a lot last week at Martinsville. Coming out of turn 4, the driver's just losing the back end of the race car. Almost had it saved a couple of times, but ended up sending that thing down to the inside wall, and unfortunately collected the number 4 machine of Pete Woodrum. Crushed that car like a Busch can. So a lot of damage on the 4 car too, backside as well as the front. Might have been caught up in something earlier on. Good looking race car though, for sure. The black and orange and silver Busch special edition can there. But tough break for the 4, the 88. Gonna have to come down pit road, get the virtual hammers out, start banging on those race cars, and well, see if they can get back out on the track. Taking a peek right now, looks like the 88 is the last driver currently on the lead lap in 23rd, and of the 30 starters we had, 29 still on the racetrack. Kyle?
Yeah, Patrick McLennan still the only driver shown as a retiree. James Kerr is a plethora of laps down. Looking through the server log here, I believe he had some connection problems that booted him out, so he has lost 12 laps. Michael Buckley, who was involved in that lap 1 incident right off the start, lots of damage on his machine. He is 10 laps down, but he is still out there turning laps. You got Matt Mackin 3 laps down, and then Sean Stamper, Charles Stevens, and David Duthwaite 1 lap down apiece in positions 24 through 26. So 29 of the 30 cars still on the racetrack, 23 of them on the lead lap, make that 24 as David Duthwaite gets the free pass under this caution, so he'll take his DoorDash machine around the field and get back onto the lead lap. So good news for him. He'll have an opportunity to compete once again after being involved in the previous caution before this one. So good for him. And I think we're starting to see the field maybe catch up just a little bit here, Brendan. We didn't see quite a long green flag run there to really get a good clue as to what kind of adjustments were done there on pit road. But Caleb Levener, great restart. He had the benefit of being right behind the race leader. And throughout those few laps that he did have under green, he didn't really allow Tommy Kelly to escape his grasp.
No, he didn't. Obviously, he got a really good restart, so it's going to be interesting to see if Coppola can get the same type of jump being behind the leader on this restart. But, you know, the 12 of Levener was really fast compared to the rest of the top 5 besides the leader at the start of the race. But you just got to wonder, like I said, if he adapted to the rubber change on the track quicker than Kelly, or if Kelly's just, you know, just kind of taking care of his stuff. Maybe he's not going to pit again. Maybe Kelly's planning to stay out if it stays green the rest of the way. So you don't really know what their strategies are, but I think right now you got to really keep your eye on the 12 and the 66 as the closest competitor for Kelly, and it's going to be all about this restart.
Well, we know for a fact that they won't have any issues on tire sets, having an extra 3 sets of tires in the pits for this 125-lap race. Plenty of tires to get through this event. It's all about how you manage them, how you treat the tires on the car during these green flag runs, and then the strategy calls. When do you come down and get them? Do you not get them at all? How do the caution laps factor into it? So should be a lot to watch here as we are just 40% of the way through this event. Closing in on the halfway mark, pace car down on pit road. Tommy Kelly's been good on these restarts. Caleb Levener, not a bad job on the outside line that time. Kelly will be able to clear him, but I think he did a much better job on the top than what Kenny Coppola did on the previous restart. The top 3 cars will stay single file. We are double wide for position number 4. Tim Wortman Jr. on the attack. He's got Pete Polini right behind him, trying to take over position from the Joe Gibbs Racing number 11 machine of Wayne Bowen.
Levener's hanging with him. This is the closest we've seen anybody to challenging Kelly. He almost peaked for the lead going into 3, so Kelly's probably wondering where that speed came from out of the 12 Ford Mustang as the caution's out.
Caution flag flies again. We have more trouble in turn number 1. Once again, the 20 machine of Charles Stevens is involved in it. I see Ed Boyles Jr. involved. The 14 of Derek Cook has found some contact, and it looks like also the 38 machine of Michael Buckley also getting collected into this one. Oh, the 6 machine of Colin Zymer also got a piece of that one late as well. So Fatheadz Eyewear Instant Replay will get thrown up by our man Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. And Paul, you got a little bit of a mess to sort through on this one.
Yeah, for sure. But you can see right now, even before we hit the play button, some heavy racing back here. 2x2, almost 3 wide there between the 2024 and the 38. And you can see it looks like the 20, there's some 3 wide action. And the 14 kind of, well, I'm not even really sure we can call that a racing deal. It looks like the 20 almost, or the 14 rather. The 14 is all the way down on the yellow line here coming into the corner. As are coming into turn 1 here. The 20 shoots into the middle. So it almost looks like the 14 kind of slowed up a little bit. The 20 shoots up into the middle, makes it 3 wide. And you can see 14 just runs out of racetrack, tries to move up just a little bit so he doesn't clip that wall. But unfortunately, the 20 machine was there, as was the 88, the 38. They get caught up into it, and there you can see 6 car all the way down low. He finds himself a good piece of the action as well. So a little bit of a sheet metal bumper car action back here. Looks like we got 22 cars on the lead lap, still rocking 28 drivers of the 30 that started. It looks like Sean Stamper, the 21, has retired a few laps ago, as well as the 2 of Patrick McClendon. So a couple of cautions here, but still some really good racing throughout the field. And, man, great restarts by Tommy Kelly and Caleb Levener up front. It's going to be a wonder to see if that 12 Penske ride can get around the number 3 Richard Childress stable, sponsored there by Phantom. So great racing up front, pretty competitive all the way throughout the field, and it's great to see. Love watching these Showtime guys here Wednesday nights, and very, very happy to announce that as a league, the Showtime Cup Series picked up the Fatheadz Eyewear brand as a league sponsor, so be sure to check them out, fatheadz.com. It's Fatheadz with a Z, not an S, and they got a lot of cool the prescription glasses frames, and they're essentially oversized glasses frames, the aviators and the stuff like that. A lot of gargoyle style glasses, and pretty cool deal. A lot of high-end stuff, and heading into racing season, I know I work with the street stock team, run a race car up at Stafford Motor Speedway, and Butterbean, you do some racing, you gotta show up to the track looking fresh, and there's no better way to do that than with a pair of Fatheadz glasses.
Yeah, you have to definitely look the part for your sponsors, look presentable. Yeah, it's definitely not on the cup level and the media level of that, but still, you never know who's watching, and you never know who you're talking to. So you always need to look your best and talk to everybody like you're talking to the next sponsor that's going to be on your car.
And they got some pretty cool deals here as well. I'm checking out their website. They're offering free U.S. shipping on orders $20 or more, and you can save $70 on eyewear, $150 or more if you use the code NEWYEAR70 at checkout. That's all one word, NEWYEAR70 will get you $70 off eyewear. That's $150 or more. So some great promotions going on over there from our friends at Fatheadz Eyewear. I know, me personally, I spend a lot of time at the dirt tracks here in New York, hoping to do that once I move to North Carolina here in the very near future. Not exactly sure how well their products are for dirt track racing, but I definitely would be willing to give it a shot. So we might have to do that here in the near future. Pace car going to duck down onto pit road. Let's try this one again. Tommy Kelly on the loud pedal. Caleb Levener and the rest of the field doing the same. Green flag goes back out, and Kelly will jump up to the top side of the racetrack. Get that nice arc down to the bottom of turn number 1. Nearly touches that yellow line and powers off of turn number 4. Tim Wortman Jr. up to position number 4, just a few cars back there, and behind him, a battle going on for the top 5. We were mentioning it earlier, Brendan. Pete Polini coming through the field. He's trying to do it now with an outside pass to go to the top 5 on Wayne Bowen.
Yeah, it looks like he actually has some minor left front damage or some nose damage there. Must have got in the back of somebody on a restart. You know, it's just showing you short track racing, that not enough to affect the overall performance of the car. But I'm actually very surprised with the restarts that 66 is laying back that far and leaving that much room for the 12 to just fall in. So like I said, it'd be interesting to see. I thought the 66 had a long run car, and as I say that, here he comes.
And especially with how badly he was on that restart a few cautions ago, where Caleb Levener was able to take advantage and immediately went around that 66 for position number 2, leaving that space there. You would think that he'd learned something off of that restart to try to be more aggressive to take over that position, but still plenty of time left. We're going to be completing the halfway mark next time by, so he's done a great job of keeping himself in position for now, running in 3rd place, starting to put a little bit of pressure on the back end of Caleb Levener, but doing a great job of keeping the rest of the field behind him. He's already opened up well over half a second back to Tim Wortman Jr. in position number 4, and is really starting to pressure Levener now for 2nd.
I think this is what he has to do. He needs to get the 2nd right here if he wants to have a shot. I don't think he necessarily has the fastest car on like the first 5 laps or so, maybe first 10 laps, but both runs now, as we've started running green flag laps, he's been on the move. So if he can get 2nd, this will be the quickest that he's been that close to the leader, and see if he can challenge Kelly.
Not exactly sure what happened here a few laps ago, guys, but I'm now seeing Pete Polini back to position number 8. He was just in a battle for the top 5 position, and not only did he lose that battle, he's also lost a handful of positions after that. So looks like checking some things out on my own here. Looks like there was a little bit of contact between Wayne Bowen and Pete Polini. He sent Polini up the racetrack, and that's where he lost those positions. So Polini dropping back to position number 8. He didn't touch the wall, didn't make any significant contact with that 11 car, but did slide the tires, lose some ground, and now Chris Spear is starting to attack him for position number 8.
He definitely looks like he's got some more damage on the left side door now. It's hard to say. It kind of looks like the decals are an illusion too. But it definitely looks like the door's been up as the 7 gets loose. You can see these guys are really pushing hard to try to get everything they can. They know there's still, 50 laps to go here or so, but that's not a lot. That's not. They go by quick at Richmond.
Looking at about 21 second lap times around this 3/4 mile short track. So the more green flag laps you get at that rate, the laps very quickly tick off. We're just over a half an hour into this event, and we're already through the halfway point. So starting to run out of time, the aggression going to pick up, the patience going to start to run out here a little bit, and the action going to continue to get more exciting here. Taking a look now at Preston Poirier, car number 13. He is currently running in position number 11 in that Geico Chevrolet Camaro. He's seen a little adversity tonight. You can see the rear end missing on that ride, but doing a pretty good job of having a solid night. Preston picked up his first win of the season just a few weeks ago at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to find that same success here tonight. It looks like he's trying to just hang on and deal with the cars that he has been dealt. But either way, out of 30 cars, just outside the top 10, it's not that bad of a night to be too upset with.
No, not at all. I don't know what he hit. It either backed it in the wall or somebody got into him pretty hard, but he's definitely fighting for drive off, so I don't know if that's from the damage or just missed the setup tonight. But and meanwhile, Kelly is starting to pull away. So is Levener off of the 3rd place car. So Kelly and them definitely hit on the setup tonight, and he's definitely gonna be the guy to beat. I feel like as we keep clicking these laps off.
Wayne Bowen and Tim Wortman Jr. have been around each other for a good portion of this race, and they just will not separate themselves from one another. Bowen goes to the inside and takes over position number 4 once again from the 00. Trevor Absher, teammates to that 11 machine of Bowen, closing in on the back bumper of your points leader, also trying to find his way around and get back inside the top 5. So these guys have been racing hard with each other all throughout this race. It's been clean, it's been fun to watch, and now Bowen's got the advantage here as he goes back around for P4.
Yeah, you notice the 00 there. He clipped the wall, it looked like, off of 4. They're running a little bit higher entry still. But Bowen is definitely on the move as he drove past them and is now gapping them as he starts to close in on Coppola. So maybe the 11 team has something.
Pete Polini has caught this group and is now side by side with Trevor Absher for position number 6. Makes quick work of that number 19 ride, takes over position 6, slides up in front, and will now have his sights set once again on a top 5 spot, trying to close in on Tim Wortman Jr. Wortman running about a lane higher than what Pete Polini is running. Polini now looks to the inside in turn number 1, drives it in. Wortman gives it up, so spots in 1 lap for Pete Polini. He is on a mission to try to recover from what he lost. And now he has his sights set on that 11 machine. Again, there was contact between those 2 cars that cost Pete Polini those positions. So looked like there was definitely some contact there. We'll see if anything plays out, if that 31 is able to catch back up to the 11 machine. But there is just about a second to make up there between those 2 machines. So Polini's got some work to do before he can worry about making that pass.
Polini definitely on the move, which we pretty much expected that. Their team seems to be firing on all cylinders, but might be a little bit more of a goal now to get to the back bumper of that Joe Gibbs 11 FedEx Camry, because I don't think he forgot what happened.
Definitely not. Race car drivers have very good memories. They don't forget anything. And we saw some fireworks explode last week at Martinsville Speedway, so the short track tempers, definitely not an unfamiliar occurrence here with the Showtime Cup Series. So we'll see what happens if those 2 do get close to each other. Looks like Tim Wortman Jr. starting to really struggle here, Brendan. He's lost position to Trevor Absher. He loses another position to Chris Spear. So whatever's going on underneath the hood of that 00 machine, it is not working out for him. He is slowly starting to slip back. He's lost a top 5 spot back to position number 8. And if he's not careful, it's only about 2.5 seconds back to where Michael Miller is in 10th. He could fall out of the top 10 if this stays green.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to really run the bottom, so you just gotta wonder if he's burned the right front up. He's definitely got wheel in it, and he's definitely not getting through the corner as fast as these guys. But meanwhile, up front, Kelly is just gone, but Levener is starting to fall back to Coppola, as I noticed looking at lap times. He's back only about not even a tenth, separating the 2nd and 3rd place car now. So, I say that, Coppola is taking it over as the caution comes out.
Coppola takes over position number 2, and we have a mess over in turns 3 and 4. Multiple cars getting stacked up, and it happened right in front of race leader Tommy Kelly. He was able to drop down to the inside and avoid it. But trouble for the 9 of Matt Mackin. Tim Ingram is involved. The 22 machine also got a piece of that incident. That is Marshall Layton. So close call there for Tommy Kelly, seeing some of those lapped cars get in trouble in front of him. He is able to get through, and we'll take a look through it here on our Fatheadz Eyewear instant replay with Paul Showtime Strickland Jr. Now, Paul may have stepped on that microphone cord, but it looked like it was Matt Mackin that got turned around there by the 4 machine of Pete Woodrum. And after that happened, you see the 9 machine sliding up the racetrack, makes contact with the outside wall. And there was actually secondary contact that caused the 17 of Tim Ingram to spin around. So it looks like that was a combination of 2 separate incidents colliding into one. I think that contact happened with Marshall Layton and Tim Ingram. We'll get a good shot at it coming off of turn number 2 here. See, Ingram looks like, oh yeah, gets a little sideways going down the back straightaway, tries to recover, nearly makes contact with the 34 ride. Layton sees the hole on the bottom. He shoots for it. Ingram closed it, and at that point it was too late. The 2 of them made contact, and they collide with the 9 machine of Matt Mackin. So some pretty decent contact going on there between those 3 drivers to bring out this caution flag. So not at all good, and then another slow little spin there for good measure. So it's been a rough night for Matt Mackin, not the first incident that he has been involved with tonight in that Napa Auto Parts number 9 Chevrolet Camaro. And you can see now those drivers down on pit road for some damage repair.
Got a little bit of a pit road update that has implications on the race for the win here. Not our race leader, but maybe one of his contenders. Kelly won the race off pit road. No, not even close. But Kenny Capola comes into pits second, slides through the box and loses 2 spots. So move Bowen up to third, I believe, and Levener's going to restart second now.
So pit road troubles there for Kenny Capola shortly after taking over the runner-up position. He's kind of been a little bit relaxed on these restarts. We're going to have less than 40 laps to go once the green flag flies, so I'll be interested to see if that strategy changes and he's a little bit more aggressive on this ensuing restart, especially now that he has made a mistake and has cost himself a position. So I believe we have the 24 machine of Wade Palmer, the 5th, stay out a lap. He is now on pit road, so that's going to drop him back to the rear of the field once he comes out and put our front runners back to where they were. So it is still Tommy Kelly in the race lead, Caleb Levener, the runner-up here in position number 2. Then we have Wayne.
You know who I want to talk about, Kyle, is 5th place. The 31 of Polini. This will be the closest he's restarted to the front. I think you were having a little bit of mic trouble there, so I knew you were going through the top 5. So I figured when we got to him, this will be interesting. If the 66 doesn't get a good restart, the 31, he could go to 3rd here on the restart if it goes well. So teammates for the win, maybe.
And look who just so happens to be lining up in front of that number 31 ride as we get double up here for this restart with 38 laps to go. Tommy Kelly, Caleb Levener, they've been 1-2 for the majority of this race, trying to stay that way and continue their dominating fashion at the front of the field here. Green flag goes in the air. Another great restart for Tommy Kelly. Does what he's been doing. Clears for the lead, comes up the racetrack, and washes back down for the entry into turn number 1. Wayne Bowen goes to position number 3. Pete Polini slides underneath the Kenny Capola side by side for 4th place. Capola with the advantage slams the door shut on Polini and keeps him at bay for the moment.
Yeah, I don't think Polini planned on that happening. You can see he kind of walked it up the corner down there in 3 and 4 as he tries a higher entry, trying to get on the outside of Polini maybe, or he's going to diamond and try to get the run off. It looks like it takes Polini a couple of laps to kind of get in the rhythm here. But Capola has definitely been a long-run car also, so these two are back farther than they'd like to be, but they got about 35 laps to go here to make something happen.
How about that 7 machine of Chris Spear starting to turn up the wick? He's around Trevor Absher for position number 6. Slight mistake there as he bounces off of the apron, loses a little bit of ground, gets the 19 out of shape, and now Michael Miller in the 48 car going to look to the inside of Absher for position number 7. The Ally 48 ride starting to work his way through the field. I think he was starting to struggle just a little bit the longer that green flag run went on, but now that we have a caution, had an opportunity for him to come to pit road, he is looking mighty strong on the bottom of the track. Whoa, we got trouble at the front of the field. Kenny Capola is out of shape and into the wall. Cars are scattering everywhere to avoid him. They're making contact with the inside wall just to stay off of the 66 car. He keeps it straight, no caution, but one of our top contenders tonight on pit road with damage under green flag conditions. This will surely eliminate him from an opportunity to win this event.
Yeah, it looked like he got down in the corner here, and I don't know if he just got in too hot. That's obviously what it looks like here, and he walked it up the track, and then at that point, you got so much wheel in it, you're trying to feed it gas, and I knew right here he was out of shape, and I thought he was going to hook Polini in the right rear, and that kind of saved him from spinning, but right there was probably going to end his shot at anything was that hit on the wall, and his night's pretty much done, I'd say.
Tim Wortman Jr. and Jason Renaud having to go to the inside wall just to avoid that 66 machine. Wortman Jr. made contact with the wall, and you can see the damage on the left front corner of your points leader there, right around that left front headlight. Is where the contact was made. Doesn't look like it's hurting him too much. We have seen him struggle throughout this race here as of late. He's in position number 9. Ken Ellert took advantage of that. First time we've mentioned him tonight. He's in position number 8 just in front of him. And then Jason Renaud in behind. the 00 in position number 10. Looks like we've got a pretty intense battle going on here for a top 5 spot. Trevor Absher and Chris Spear trading positions. Spear did get a piece of Coppola during that incident. You can see the damage on the front end of his Chevy Camaro. He will sacrifice position number 5, allow Absher to go back into that spot. And Absher immediately putting some distance on that 7 machine. You got to wonder if that damage is affecting the 7.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, it looks like Spear has some motor damage because it doesn't seem like, right there you look even with the 48, but I think he's in defense mode because when you get damage to the center of the noses on these things, it tends to really hurt the speed part. So, lap traffic causing problems for the 19, and everybody's all over the place now.
Cars scattering to get around the 24 machine of Wade Palmer the 5th. They do so successfully. No harm, no foul. We continue on. There is Wade Palmer back up to speed now. And Tim Wortman Jr. trying to reel in the 48 machine of Michael Miller. Pushes way wide. We've seen him in that middle line all throughout the night. Brendan, you mentioned it earlier. That car may be struggling to get down on the bottom side of this racetrack. Does a better job that time there in 3 and 4, but we got contact. Michael Miller in the 48 machine makes contact with the 6 of Colin Zeimer. That got the 48 sideways. He gathered it up. Things are getting crazy throughout this field.
I don't know what they told him in the driver's meeting, but the lap cars are almost just running the middle of the track, and that's rare to see. Normally they'll pick bottom or top, but they're running right in the center. So I think this is just a lot of misjudgments. The lead lap cars don't know where to exactly go, and it's causing a lot of contact. And 48 is probably not pleased with the 6 channeling his inner Ryan Newman of being difficult to pass.
Contact costs the 48 the position on the 00, so he goes to 8th. Jason Renaudin is not too far behind, but Wade Palmer the 5th is starting to make a charge through this pack of lead lap cars. Palmer is running in 24th position. He is currently 9 laps down, so big troubles on that exalted number 24 car. He's trying to take advantage of the fresher equipment underneath of him and work his way through some of this lead lap traffic, but he has to be very careful. He does not want to have an impact on this event. He gets around his teammate in the 48, and that's just going to stack the 48 right back up. Oh, we got a blow-up, I think. Yes, trouble for the 7 machine of Chris Spear, and now Michael Miller is sideways. He hangs on, but Spear with a blown motor on that 7 machine. We mentioned the front-end damage after getting into contact with the 66 of Kenny Coppola. He is not going to make it back to pit road here, Brendan. I'm not sure if we're going to stay green.
Yeah, from my iRacing experience, I knew that damage was hurting him because he hadn't been that far off the pace since we'd been talking about him. So that's a heartbreaker. And, I know he's probably not pleased, but, he gave a great effort tonight. But meanwhile, it looks like we might have a battle for second shaping up as Bowen and Levin look to be within about a 10th or 2 of each other.
Levener, Bowen, the 31 of Pete Polini, all here. And then you have Kenny Coppola just behind them. Coppola, again, involved in an incident there. He is off the lead lap by 5 laps in position number 20. Things pretty tight here for position number 3 with Pete Polini and Wayne Bowen. Polini was a little bit closer the last time by. Bowen's been able to separate himself by about a car length or 2 here. He makes a bit of a mistake there coming off at turn number 4. Polini's going to look to the inside going down the front stretch. Tries driving it in, a little more reserved, gets underneath through the center of 1 and 2. Lap car of Jared Cook in the way. That's going to act as a pick for Polini. Bowen will have to give up that position, and Pete Polini inside the top 3 for the first time tonight.
Well, that's definitely going to change the battle for second. Just as we thought Bowen had closed in on 11, where I feel like the 12 Penske Mustang has not been the best long-run car. It seems like after about 25 laps, he kind of comes back to the third-place car. So Polini's definitely in the best spot he's been all night, and I don't know if he's got enough time to make a run for the lead without a caution, but he's definitely got a chance for a 1-2 finish for RCR.
It's taken Pete Polini a little bit of time to work his way up to the front of the field. Remember, he was the dominant winner last week at the Martinsville Speedway, and now we're starting to see that change to his teammate in Tommy Kelly. But he's made quick work of Wayne Bowen and has erased the gap up to Caleb Levener. He is putting the pressure on the 12 of Levener, looking for position number 2 as they slice their way through lap traffic. Just 17 laps remaining here in this race. You ride on board with Pete Polini as he tries to track down Caleb Levener for position number 2. There's a bit of a hole there on the inside that Levener is leaving on entry. He closes it once they get to the center, but if you give that opportunity to Polini on entry, with this few laps left in the race, he is going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, you can see the 12 is back in the corner up where Polini's really charging it, trying to just get to that left rear because you know, if the spotter's going to call inside for the 12, he's going to have to give it to him. So, looks like he's going to take it anyways as he gets it inside down on the front stretch here. 12 shuts the door. Lap traffic up top. You notice the lap traffic is starting to pop up everywhere, and that might have saved the 12 for another lap.
Great drive off the bottom of turn 2 for Pete Polini, pulling up next to Levener in the 12 once again. Levener is just going to let him have it. He's going to try maybe to cross him over, touches the apron, loses a little bit of momentum, and Pete Polini will hold on to position number 2 as they come across the stripe. This happening just about 3 seconds behind race leader Tommy Kelly. So Pete Polini has charged his way through the field. He started in 23rd position. He is up to second place. 13 laps to go. Does he have an opportunity to run his teammate down, or is he going to need a caution?
I think he needs a caution. 2.8 seconds back right now, or 2.7. I keep an eye on that, but I just think the 3's been way too dominant unless a lap car messes him up. I think Polini really needs a caution. But then it's going to be interesting, how hard do you race your teammate if you get there, or if he was to catch him on this run, and how hard are they going to push each other?
It was these two drivers battling it out for the race win last week at the Martinsville Speedway. Ironically enough, the order was flip-flopped. Pete Polini won it. Tommy Kelly was right behind him in second. Now the order is reversed. Tommy Kelly is leading Polini by about 3 seconds here. And I tend to agree with you here, Brendan. I think paying attention to the intervals, Tommy Kelly is just ever so slowly inching away from Polini by about a tenth of a second every lap here. We're coming to 10 to go this time by. If we don't get a caution, I think this is the 3 cars' race to lose as long as he doesn't make a mistake.
Yeah, he's been class of the field all night. It'd have been interesting to see if Polini could restart second or third on fresh tires and see what he had, but I just don't think anybody's had the speed that the 3's had, and you know, once you get out this far, you can maintain that gap, and now I think he's just kind of clicking the laps off.
He clicks off lap number 116, 9 laps left remaining for the 3 machine of Tommy Kelly. He continues to extend his lead over his teammate Pete Polini in position number 2. Looks like Caleb Levener and Trevor Absher are trying to battle it out here for position number 3. Absher's been starting to come on strong here, the more green flag laps that we have run, and he is on the back bumper of Caleb Levener looking for a 3rd place run.
Yeah, he kind of came out of nowhere, but like I said, the 12 seems to always be fading on these long runs. He's definitely had a short run car, but this is probably the longest stint we've had as the Joe Gibbs number 19 Camry 5-hour energy is looking to get a podium finish. Somebody that was up there earlier and then kind of faded back, so he's definitely rallied back and is looking at a solid finish.
Levener has been able to space out the number 19 machine a little bit over the last couple of laps. Maybe Absher is just trying to mount a late race charge here. 6 laps to go, and man, it really looks like Levener's starting to turn up the wick. He started to see the pressure and those 19 car colors become brighter in his rearview mirror, and he has now opened up to about 0.6 of a second back to the 19 machine. So Levener saw the pressure. He'd like to keep a podium. He'd like to come talk to us at the end of this one, and is trying to do so here. 5 laps to go. Flagger shows him a handful. We are down to a few more circuits around this speedway. Things starting to come to a close. Do we see a late race yellow here? Do we get a little bit more drama, or are we going to go to the end?
I think at this point they're so spread out, it goes to the end unless a lap car makes a mistake here. I think this is Kelly's race to lose at this point, and right now he's just got to hold his breath to get to that white flag, but it's definitely looking good. Everybody's spread out. I say that as the lap cars up here are starting to get a little beating and banging up there.
3 laps to go. James Kerr, the next lap car for Tommy Kelly to deal with. He's going to try to get to the inside of him here into turn number 1. He will do so, and you can see right up ahead some heavier lap traffic for your race leader, Tommy Kelly. He doesn't have to catch them. He has a 4-second lead. He can afford to be patient and just let them ride. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go for Tommy Kelly.
Yeah, this is the stressful part of this race for Kelly, I'm sure, is because he does not want to see a caution for another half a lap, and you see cars beat all up, racing each other like they're racing for the win ahead. As he goes through 3 and 4 to the white, now he can take a breath, and this one should be his.
Heavy lap traffic for him to deal with on this final lap. He's trying to get through it without any issues. 1 in front of him, 1 on the outside, looking to the inside of the 34 of Stephen Wood. Wood going to back off into turn 3 and let him have it. He made it look easy. A dominating win out of the Richard Childress Racing stable once again. This time it's by Tommy Kelly. Win number 4 for Tommy Kelly in the Showtime Cup Series this season. He wins the Fatheadz Eyewear 125 at Richmond Raceway. He does it by finishing ahead of teammate Pete Polini in position number 2. Caleb Levner was able to hang on to 3rd place after that late race battle with Trevor Absher. Absher claims a 4th, and Wayne Bowen, teammate to Trevor Absher, will finish your top 5. Jason Renaudin, good run for him late in the going. He comes up to finish in 6th. Ken Eller with a fantastic finish for that number 95 car. We didn't talk about him too much tonight, but he shows up with a good run in 7th. Ed Boyles Jr. recovers from some early troubles to finish in 8th. Your points leader coming into this race, Tim Wortman Jr. finishes in 9th. And how about John Tuddy? We haven't talked about him at all tonight. He sneaks into the top 10 at the end of the race.
Yeah, listen, that was definitely one I hadn't talked about all night. I'll take you through, I guess, the 11th through 20th here. Jimmy Absher in the 18, 11th, 48 of Michael Miller. Tough break for him with the lap traffic there. He was definitely up there in contention for a top 5, top 10. 13th of Stephen M. Wood in the 34. Preston A. Purrier, your winner from Atlanta, comes home 14th. David, sorry if I butcher your last name, buddy, Duthwaite, in the 23 is 15th. 16th, the 20 of Charles Stevens. He got trouble early on and rebounded for a 16th. The 14 of Derek Cook is in 17th. 18th is the 17 of 10 Ingram. 19th, the heartbreak for Kenny Capola, who was up front most of the race. And round out your top 20 is Matt Mackin in the 9.
21st finisher, Wade Palmer the 5th. Colin Zeimer finishes 22nd. James Kerr in 23rd. Chris Spear, another big heartbreaker, was coming in very strong towards the end of this race, but motor damage expiring that motor and ending his run. He finishes in 24th. Pete Woodrum in 25th. Wade Palmer the 4th finishes in 26th. Marshall Layton 27th. Michael Buckley in 28th. Sean Stamper 29th. And Patrick McLendon completes your 30-car field in tonight's Fatheadz Eyewear 125. Post-race time, we're down here in Victory Lane to talk to the winner of the Fatheadz Eyewear 125, that being Tommy Kelly. Tommy, I can't really say I'm too surprised. Another dominating performance out of the RCR stable tonight. Almost an identical run to what you guys did at Martinsville Speedway last week, except you were the dominator, and Pete Polini finishes behind you.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really good car. Made a couple very tiny adjustments on it throughout the race, but overall it was really solid on the short run and long run. Can't thank the Phantom Graphics CGE guys enough for everything they do for me, and B-Leaf and Shenandoah Shine and all the guys that make it happen over there. And thank Pete and Tim and Preston. They all help out a ton. We all work really well together. Just came out here and showed them what we can do.
Tommy, I'd like to say that maybe this is just a short track thing for the two of you guys, or for this team, seeing that you take these 2 short track wins in a row. But this is win number 4 for you. And this is, you guys as a whole team have put up a lot of victories here in these first 9 races. There is clearly a lot of very good cooperation amongst this team, and it's impressive to see. How are you tackling these races? What is making you guys so good week in and week out?
I think it's really just how well we work together, and we go in and run test sessions and really work with each other on figuring out what we like in a setup and what we don't, and what we have to change for certain drivers, and really work together. And I don't think some of the teams are putting in quite the amount of effort that we are, and I think it shows.
Teamwork being a strong successor for this team, and as we look ahead to next week, you really can't mention a track where teamwork means so much more than Talladega Superspeedway. A completely different beast than what we have dealt with these last 2 weeks. We go from short track racing to super speedway racing. Should we expect to see the same thing? Is this RCR group going to be another one to reckon with at the big super speedway next week?
We're sure going to try. I'm not near as confident on a super speedway as I am a short track, but we're going to see what we can do and try to work together to be at the front at the end.
As mentioned, Tommy, win number 4 on the season, and taking a look at the point standings and where Tim Wortman Jr. finished tonight, that title might go to you heading into Talladega next week, getting to enter as the points leader. Who would you like to thank for another victory?
I'd just like to thank the guys over at CGE Phantom Graphics, and they were really awesome for picking me up, and I'm really excited to work with those guys. And obviously, I want to thank B-Leaf and Shenandoah Shine, and all the sponsors that make it happen over there. I want to thank my parents and grandparents for watching the show tonight, and thank you guys for broadcasting. Just everyone that makes it happen.
So those are the words from race winner Tommy Kelly. His 4th win on the season. He picks up the victory here in the Fatheadz Eyewear 125 at Richmond Raceway tonight, doing it ahead of teammate Pete Polini. Brendan, you are down there with him. What a drive from Polini tonight.
Yeah, so we're down here with, should I say, Mr. Hard Charger. Pete Polini. It was fun to watch. Got some damage early on and later on, and was able to, I think, pass the most cars tonight to finish 1-2 for your team. Take us through your perspective of tonight.
Oh, I had a good time short track racing again with the boys. I told a few of them in the chat earlier in the week that since I won last week, I'd start in the back, so I wanted to hold up to that and see what I could do. We had a good set underneath us. The CGE Phantom boys gave us something awesome to work with. So I was able to kind of be a little bit patient, pick my way through, and would have liked to have challenged Tommy a little bit more. By the time I got there, he was so far gone, there wasn't much I was going to be able to do with him.
Do you think if you could have got a caution and have had fresh tires restarting second or third, being that close, do you think you could have gave your old teammate there a little challenge, or you think he was just really, really good tonight?
Oh, he was definitely good tonight. It's hard to say. I think without everything being equal on the restart, I think I would have probably had to move him to get by, because he was just solid. He didn't make any mistakes, ran consistent laps, and I'm being on the same setup or similar setup minus adjustments. It would have been tough. He'd have had to make a mistake, that's for sure.
Yeah, we were definitely talking about that. How hard would you race a teammate? Would you move them for the win? And there was definitely mixed emotions on that. It's about the answer I figured you would give us there. But meanwhile, looking ahead, you won last week. You finished second tonight. Great couple of weeks. RCR is running really good. What y'all's expectations going to Talladega? Obviously, having a teammate there is going to be to y'all's benefit. But, what are your expectations for Dega? Are you excited? And what you think?
I'm looking forward to it. I generally do pretty well on the plate tracks. We've run a few of the 6-hour races there with some of the other teams, and I'm real confident there. I think with the guys we got on our team here, if we get together, we should all be able to do very well. I think as long as anybody doesn't get into us, barring the Talladega big one. Sometimes there's not much you can do, but I think if we all are able to be there at the end, we all got a shot.
Well, that is good to hear. One last question before I let you think who's on board, but I just wanted to ask you, when you got that damage late from, I believe, the 66, did that concern you on your night? I know the 7 ended up blowing up from it. Was there a thought in your mind that might end your good run?
I felt bad getting into Kenny. He worked so hard this week, and he was running so well. I think he got a little bit loose. I don't think I got into him, but you guys might have to tell me. But I as far as damage on the car, it wasn't a huge hit. I wasn't super worried about it. I just felt bad that I got into him at all, honestly.
Well, it was he definitely he got loose. It wasn't you, so you can sleep good on that. But I'll give you a minute here. Who would you like to thank?
Definitely CGE Phantom Graphics guys for making it happen. They're my main guys. They're an awesome team to be with. All the boys at RCR, Tommy Kelly, you guys at Vidane TV for doing the broadcasts. Let's see, who I guess CGE Phantom Graphics, Buck Kicker, Martin Sports Apparel, Shenandoah Shine. I think Sim Boxes as well for the league sponsor there. So I'm happy to put up a good show for the Phantom CGE boys once again.
Well, we appreciate you putting in the effort and look forward to seeing you at Talladega.
Yeah, can't wait. Appreciate you guys doing the broadcast, and hopefully we'll get to chat with you again next week.
I believe Kyle has caught up with third place finisher from Team Penske.
Indeed, I have down here with Caleb Levener. Caleb, a very strong run for you tonight. Inside the top 5 the entirety of the way. Had some flashes of excellence being able to stick with Tommy Kelly, but in the end, it seemed like the long runs just really bit you tonight.
Yeah, the long runs kind of got to me. I had great speed for about 20 to 25 laps and kind of started falling off there. Don't know if I was kind of running my car a little too much, trying to challenge Tommy, or probably should have backed off here and there. But overall, pretty solid night. I'm pretty happy with the results.
I did notice that after our first lengthy green flag run and the first time that you guys came down for pit service, it seemed that there was some type of change made to your number 12 ride, and you were able to keep a little bit closer up with Tommy on the short runs. Was there something that you guys did on that pit stop, or did just the fresh rubber and being able to learn some things from a few laps in race pace allow you to be a little bit more competitive from that point on?
I had a little bit of tape to my car, but mainly just fresh tires and being a little more aggressive than I was at the start. Most of the time I start a race, I kind of try to ease my way through it and feel it out and try to challenge him a little more. I want to kind of give him something to work for, but didn't quite have enough.
And then late in the going, I had a pretty good battle going on there with Trevor Ravsher. He was able to get to you, but once you saw that 19 machine get a little bit bigger in your mirror, it seemed like you really stepped it up and separated yourself from him in order to hang on to P3. Talk about that late race battle.
I think a lot of that was me watching my rear view mirror instead of focusing on hitting my marks. Kind of was overdriving the corners a little bit, and so I knew my tires are kind of wearing out as well, so I kind of started backing up a little more so I can get better drive off, and I was able to pull away from him a little bit, and I think he got caught behind a lap car there at one point. It kind of allowed me to gap him a little further, and that was just enough for me to get third place.
A great effort for you tonight. Who would you like to thank for the bottom step podium run?
I'd like to thank my Team Penske team members. We work together most of the week. Whenever I'm not able to work on the setup, Patrick's there. Marshall and Sean's always running practice laps trying to get the setup better. And I'd also like to thank my dad and my grandpa who watched. They kind of talk junk to me all week about what I need to do a little better here and there. And also like to thank the sponsors and you guys for putting on a good broadcast every week.
So that is Caleb Levener, third place finisher tonight in Fatheadz Eyewear 125 at Richmond Raceway. Was inside the top 5 the entire night tonight. Started in second, only loses one spot, and it brings it home third. He came into tonight's race fourth place in the point standings, just 38 points out of the lead. So another top 5 finish, his second on the season, will help him stay close in the points battle for sure. So we've talked to our top 3. The race is in the books, Brendan. A pretty good one. I would definitely say an improvement from last week's race at Martinsville Speedway. The cautions allowed for some good strategy on pit road. We saw some great racing inside the top 5, and once again, another dominating run from the RCR guys.
Oh, yeah, definitely a lot of green flag racing. That's always fun to see. Nobody wants to ride around under caution all night. Tommy Kelly definitely dominated this race, but it was still fun to watch 2nd through 5th there. There was a lot of good battles, a lot of damage, a lot of wrecks. I feel bad for a couple of cars that had a heartbreak there that were going to have a good run, but overall, I'd say it was a good race, and RCR is back on top with a lot of momentum. So it'd be interesting to see if they can get through Dega clean and keep the momentum going.
Should be very fun to see what happens at Talladega Superspeedway next week. Things become wide open again. And with this series following the Real World NASCAR Cup Series playoff format, win and you're in. We could be surprised and see a new winner grace victory lane next week down in Alabama. Well, Paul, that is just about going to wrap things up for us here tonight. We're about halfway through our week, some good shows that we have done in the past, and tomorrow it continues with the Neps boys, and we got a few more shows after that. Just continuing to pump out the product here at Verdane TV.
Absolutely. Not just a flash in the pan here at Verdane TV. We've got at least 4 to 5 shows booked every single week throughout the month of May here in 2021. So very excited, very thankful, very humbled to have all these leagues and these supporters and these sponsors coming back to us here in these the pandemic times, and even as things are starting to slowly kind of get back to normal, we're starting to get a little bit warmer out, hopefully. We just got a foot of snow here in the Northeast, but we're hoping to get to the real racetrack soon and have a lot of fun and meet up with some old friends and some new friends. But lots of action coming up here on Verdane TV. In the meantime, you made mention the Neps Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series coming back to us tomorrow night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Friday night, the Neps Super Truck. It's the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Series group. The Super Trucks are coming back to us Friday night. Saturday, we got a little Tim's Corner Motorsports Dual Dirt Track 50s. And that's going to be probably about a 7:30 start time, because at 10:30 on Saturday, the Sim 500 Verdane Racing Super Speedway Series coming back. 3 races to go. We got 10 drivers locked into the playoffs. We got 2 races to knock that down to 4 drivers. They're going to the iRacing Super Speedway in the final race, and we're going to find out who is going to get that ProAmBelts.com custom championship belt. And when I tell you this thing is custom, it is custom, because I came up with the design. Pretty cool, and you also get to drive a rent-a-race car street stock at Stafford Motor Speedway on June 11th. So really looking forward to all the stuff coming up here on Verdane TV. Get the whole schedule, verdane.net/events. All the events are written right in there in the calendar. You can even print it out right from that page. And you know what? While you're at the website, click on that shop button. Get yourself a Verdane TV hooded sweatshirt, t-shirt. We got all sorts of stuff. We got face masks, and there's the Angry Tree Guy brand, the Two Drunk Esports brand, as well as the Visual Pollution as well. So jump in there, use coupon code or promo code TANGLY for 10% off, and use that at checkout. But that's going to wrap it up here for tonight. We're going to wrap everything up, head on out to the Neps race for tomorrow night. We'll catch you guys on the flip side when we do. We're going to be doing it live right here on Verdane TV.